Our current score is 4-2, so this is match point for StraTk Gaming, who is taken 4 out of 6 so far. If they win this one, and they have indeed won the week, but because these games are played in an anachronistic order, or all games are played, and I will cast them all, even if they've already won. I got good manner going on. The GLHS going down here for our Yellow Terran StudPuffin, spawning in the upper left on Frost. And down in the lower left, we have Nycro, playing for StraTk Gaming, listed as Scanty as his clan. I know very little about these players, and therefore nothing about their clan affiliations. I do see Nycro sending out a very early probe. He probably is just scouting with it, but we could see some early cheese going on with the probe going out with the 9 pylon. And that SCV heading out to scout as soon as he sees that down. However, if he saw that probe, he knows where he is. But still good to send it down to scout to see what he's got. Perhaps a little bit slow in his bunker timing. People usually put down the bunker at 12. Anyway, let's get up our production tab. We might actually be trying to do some cheese here. Building up a fair bit of money. Either that or he's going CC first. So, CC first or cheese? CC first or cheese? That is the question. In the meantime, we have a 1 gas and a gateway coming down for Nycro, which is completely scouted by his SCV hanging out in his base. Yep, CC first for StudPuffin. So, StudPuffin at least looking like he's going pretty macro oriented. Now he's getting down that first barracks. That SCV continuing to try to scout in, see what he can see. Sees a cybernetics core. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet. Probe continuing to hang out. Seeing the CC first build. It's very obvious to anyone who knows anything about timings that would be CC first for someone playing. Trying to take down this SCV, building the CC. He will air it down if he doesn't micro it back. He does micro it back and switch SCVs. But it's going to continue to try to chase down this SCV and be annoying. In fact, I think it's going to get it. Nope, actually the SCV is surrounded and get the probe, but he did delay the timing of that at CC from CC firsting pretty significantly, considering he did not send a SCV back down to finish it up, getting down a barracks bunker already, as well as a second barracks. Still no gas yet for StudPuffin. On the other side of the map, we have warp gate technology and a stalker coming out already for Nycro. Mothership core will be coming after this probe finishes. Continuing full chrono on the Nexus, as is usually the case at this point, unless there's interesting early timings of cheese going on. That Scout SCV actually running back to escape from the one Zealot that's out. With even one Marine in a bunker has no trouble against a Zealot, though. So that Zealot being kind of left here to look for any move-outs and, well, be a scouting Zealot. And, in fact, being joined by a Stalker. Looks like they might actually try to harass this base some more. Yeah, they're going to get this SCV. Yep, they get the SCV, but just too late as the base does indeed go down. Base morphing immediately into an orbital command, but the Marines not leaving the safety of their bunker and so not being any bit effective. Looks like they're, yeah, he's losing one Marine for free. The wall goes down, but the Stalker, oh, it's not a complete wall off as the Zealot runs in, and the Marines chasing down the Stalker and Zealot, but getting a fair bit of damage done. The Stalker's down, the Zealot's down, but that incomplete wall off cost him a few units he didn't have to lose. And the Mothership core now here to offer a little more support, but mostly just losing half of its shields to a bunkered Marine. But StudPuffin is able to set up his second base just a little before Nycro. Second base is going down. Nycro's Robo is just about done, so he's going with Robotech first, rather than a Twilight Council first build, or a Stargate. So, no real early cheese, just a pretty good macro game is what we're going to see out of these players. No surprise in a full-player map. Nothing but that one early poke. If you're just joining me and you're unfamiliar with it, the Chobo Team League is a league for players that are below Masters League, so anything Diamond and below. Oh, it has a number of teams that compete every week in an anachronistic fashion, so basically whenever two players want to schedule their game during a week, whenever they can get together and do it. So these are indeed cast from replays, because there is not much good way unless a caster also arranges to be there for a specific live game to cast them live. They aren't all done at once, at least at this point. I'm sure that sort of a show match could be arranged, but the logistics of such things are not as good in amateur leagues rather than pro leagues, as, well, amateurs usually have real lives. I myself play in the Chobo Team League and am also a computer science professional, so my day job does severely limit when I can actually play. In fact, this week my game was not able to happen due to the player I was supposed to play against having internet problems, and so I actually got a free win for this week. Go Vortex. Anyway, so we got both players just building up their economy at this point. Building up their economy, building up their tech. Got the first Colossi going to be on the way pretty quick. Nycro, extended thermal lance already on the way, but finishing up another observer before getting a Colossus out. And we have all the typical upgrade aids going down for our Terran player. Stimpack hacking +1 weapons just about to finish, and he's going to use that timing to try to make a little drop happen. Not sure if that's going to get much done, though. We got a Colossus and a number of Stalkers, Sentries, and Zealots all standing right where that drop looked like it was going to fly to. Looks like he is going to do the drop, yep. But they're in exactly the wrong place. The Colossus immediately coming over and roasting a few Marines, and he just picks up what he can and leaves. Only losing one Marine, though, so pretty good micro on StudPuffin's part, not losing much, because that was exactly the wrong place to drop. But good micro saved everything, and back to the base it goes. Keep dropping off those Marines to heal them up. Micro hallucinating a Phoenix to go scout around and see what's going on. Looks like these Marines are doing a little bit of scouting on their own, just spreading out and seeing what they can do, shooting at the hallucinated Phoenix. Sure, he doesn't know for sure it's a hallucination, but he probably has a pretty good idea. And this dropship just kind of sailing all the way across the other side of the map. I wonder if he's going to try to get an angle on the main, or just trying to scout for ninja bases or proxies or anything like that. Nycro getting down his third base, but it is immediately seen and scouted by the scout Marine. He does get a free probe, but the probe does get the base down before getting taken out. The Marine getting taken out by the army, moving down for Nycro. So we have a couple Vikings on the way. A +1 armor just about to finish for our Terran player. Typical lots and lots of Marines coming down. That is a lot of racks. 6 racks, as well as 2 starport orts and a factory. The factory not being used should probably be lifted to go scout around. But not taking a third base, instead choosing unit production. Possibly a good choice. He currently is ahead a little bit in supply. He's actually got a significant worker lead, which is kind of interesting. And this little drop group from earlier trying to cancel this base, they don't have quite enough time to do it. But oh, the medevac went exactly the wrong direction. Pretty bad micro. But we're all here to get better. It's what Chobo Team League's really about. Playing more games in a bit of a tournament and real competition format to try to get better. So things like that don't happen in your games. Even with that, though, we've seen really good play out of StudPuffin so far. In fact, both players playing really well. Nycro moving out with a 3 army supply lead, as well as the advantage of having a few Colossi on the field. This move out could do a significant amount of damage. But StudPuffin does have those Vikings out to deal with the Colossus. Might actually have to, with too many Vikings, might actually have to land them, but we'll see how that goes. Our Terran with a bit of an upgrade advantage at this point. But with no upgrades in production, it looks like Nycro's going to catch up, and having his Templar Archives already done in Storm on the way, we're going to see even more area of effect damage coming down. StudPuffin is landing his 3rd base. And it looks like he is choosing to go engage into this force. Not necessarily the best of placement, taking a lot of damage from the Colossi, almost taking one down. A ton of High Templars with the army, but with Storm not yet completed, they're not really that useful. But Storm is just about to be done, and when it is, although the army supply difference is a little bit in StudPuffin's favor, that is a very dangerous army Nycro has. A ton of AoE damage against a chiefly marine heavy force. This is possibly not going to go well unless you can really outmaneuver Nycro's army. Outmaneuvering is his best plan, as Protoss units do tend to be slower than most Terran units. Unless, of course, they're blinking around. The Stalkers can't blink yet, though. So. In fact, blink not on the way. Surprising choice with how many Stalkers he has, but he hasn't bothered to get blink. But 2v3, oh, nice storms. Those storms being absolutely clutch, as I expected. Just taking a ton of health off all these Marines and Marauders, almost destroying the entire fleet of Vikings. Nycro just taking this very decisively, even in the army supply difference, and even taking an army supply lead. Even morphing in an Archon from those 2 High Templar who survived and had no energy left. But a Terran army does build a lot faster, and he's even already taken back the army supply lead. And the supply lead in general. So although Nycro had a very good engagement there, he really needed that good engagement. Getting down another Colossus into 4 more gateways morphing in, so he's probably going to wait a little on his attack to get up more production, just finding that his production capabilities just aren't quite up to par yet. Also using those gateways to make a pretty good SimCity of a wall here. Not a complete wall off, but good SimCity always helps. And even getting down a 4th base. Looks like he might have a very significant lead soon, having 4 bases to a Terran with 3. Getting a Marine coming down here to scout, and he does have a few forward pylons, a number of forward pylons. Not going to lose those pylons anytime soon. He also needed them for supply. I'd wager those. He's probably about to have a giant round of warp-ins as these gateways finish. And that is a lot of money in the bank, so we're probably going to see a very large round of warp-ins from Nycro. He's actually going to move in before doing the warp-ins. Interesting choice. I would have wagered him to do those warp-ins first. With all that money and all that open supply. But rather than doing all those warp-ins, he's going to move in with this army, and it's working pretty good. He's hallucinated a ton of Colossi, which did a very good job of distracting his opponent. He doesn't actually have much AoE other than this 1 real Colossus and 1 Archon in the front, so he's getting pushed back, though. In fact, taking absolutely devastating losses, except that he has such the ability for warping, but rather than warping in, he's just trying to maintain this small force and defeat this much larger force with his small force. It's not really working out that well. He finally does take the engagement in the middle of the map, but he lost a whole lot of army for that. And look at those minerals and that bank he's got going. Looks like we have one Marine shooting. Yep, a ton of Zealots actually were warped in to deal with that one Marine. And these 4 new gateways still aren't in use. They still haven't been warped in, so Nycro not taking advantage of all of his production at all. Whereas StudPuffin is doing a much better job taking advantage of what he has available to him. But with that extra base that Nycro has and just the significant and harvester lead, he has a much better economy. Now Nycro is pretty much very gas starved, but he could still warp in a ton of Zealots. Now actually he's got a big warp in to use a lot of that bank, but he's still got a hefty mineral bank. But those Zealots are going to do really, really well helping tank for that one Colossus and those Archons and High Templar as they move to take down this third base of StudPuffin. In fact, leaving a bit of the army behind as the rest of the army is being used to pretty much zone out StudPuffin's army, where a little bit of it is going to work on these SCVs. Probably should be targeting that Colossus elsewhere there rather than taking down the base with it, but still succeeding at doing what he wants. Just this huge number of Zealots doing great work, but oh, that is the perfect place for a Widow Mine, and it does great work taking out almost all the Zealots between that and a Ghost EMP. So really, really good micro from StudPuffin. But the macro of Nycro is just absolutely exploding at this point. StudPuffin losing that third base completely, and a little bit of fancy micro isn't going to hold back this absolutely overpowered Protoss army. He's up 40 supply as a Protoss, and that's a Protoss with AoE with a Terran with, I don't even think he has any ghosts left. He's morphing in a few ghosts and personal cloaking, but that's not going to get that much done. I mean, I don't think he has any observers out here, but 1 or 2 cloaked ghosts isn't really going to do much against this size of army. This looks like this is going to be it for StudPuffin. More and more SCVs being pulled, but that's just not going to be enough. He's got these 2 ghosts hanging out, but they don't have enough for an EMP, and even if they did, it isn't going to help out that much. Yep, getting taken down by these Zealots. There's just nothing that StudPuffin has left. He has no income. His income completely taken down, having lost his 2 mining bases, and yeah, all he's got left is a bit of gas, no mineral income at all, no way to build anything else. That's GG. It's done. And there's the GG. So with that, StraTk Gaming actually takes the series. Now at that point, the series is technically done. Still have some more games because, as I said, these games are played anachronistically. No one knows no one knew that was the case. And I have no idea when these games were played this week, and well, neither did the players. So, but after that 7th set, at the